Now, Mumbai has been the epicenter of COVID-19, and with the city recording the single most number of cases in India, Dr. Pallavi Sapple, who is the youngest dean at the 174-year-old institute, has been at the forefront of the battle. Now, she's seen the patients who've come in, the lack of beds, the struggle that came in with it, and she too is a COVID hero for us. Let's take a look at her story.
Bycula's JJ Hospital has been tackling the COVID-19 virus head-on. With a record of being one of the first hospitals to have a COVID-19 smart OPD and develop a contactless transport chamber to move the COVID-19 patients, at the helm of affairs is Dr. Pallavi Sapple, who wears the badge of being one of the youngest deans to have taken over the 174-year-old institute last year. She is also probably the second woman to be leading the state's biggest college-cum-hospital. As Mumbai continues to battle the virus head-on, it is Dr. Sapple's team of doctors and medical staff members who are making new strides in tackling the COVID-19 every day. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Dr. Sapple, thanks a lot for speaking to us. Happy Independence Day to you. I remember speaking to you in the middle of the lockdown period as well about the struggles and the sacrifices that COVID heroes, our frontline warriors, the doctors are making. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Happy Independence Day to you as well. I'm doing okay. We have come a long way and there's still a long way to go, but doing well.
Do you believe that India has really shown the way as far as managing COVID is concerned? I mean, for around this period, some of the very alarming predictions that were being made have not come true, thankfully. The way that the Indian medical fraternity has risen to the challenge despite its structural and infrastructural issues, the way that, we've managed to keep the mortality rates down, recovery rate is high. For a densely populated, highly populated country, India is perhaps the only one that has seen the numbers it has.
Very true. I would agree with you that we are a unique country. We're very different and the challenges here were unique. And you didn't happen to mention JJ Hospital, but as I've been speaking with you so often, I was very happy to see the complimentary montage that you put up. And our Minister, Mr. Amit Deshmukh, is the one who not only helped us set up the lab at JJ Hospital, but then he actually sent me out as a warrior out to war. And I have worked in Meerut and Sangli. I've spoken to you when I was there as well. Then I have worked in the Ahmednagar district. And right now I have been posted to work in Malegaon and Dhule. So although I'm the dean at JJ Hospital, I'm also working at Dhule right now and Malegaon. And that's why I've been able to see it across the spectrum. A metropolitan city, a city which has a lot of socio-economic issues like Malegaon. And then a district like Ahmednagar, which does not have a medical college. So we had a challenge to set up a lab there. But I'm very proud to say that that district was the first one where a civil hospital, without even having a microbiology department, we could set up a RT-PCR lab there, and one of the earliest ones to start. So yes, these are the unique challenges for us, overcoming prejudices of the general populace, the fear, the misinformation. But I think the doctors, and I would not say just the doctors, the nurses, we would call all of us the healthcare providers, doctors, nurses, the people, the staff, the ward boys who shifted patients around, everybody, even dealing with the dead bodies, that's also a challenge. And everybody has risen up to the challenge, but the battle is over, the war is still on. Hopefully should end soon.
Absolutely, and which is why, Dr. Sapple, I wanted to speak on it, because the situation was very horrifying until some time ago, especially in the city of Mumbai. Also because of the high density population, and many of the buildings were sealed. JJ Hospital had to see some very challenging times when it came to treating those patients. In your eyes, now that at least the worst is over, if we can say that, and if you would say that, how would you describe that time and how is it getting better now?
We can only say that the worst is over once we have, crested the peak, so to say. So we can't say it, but it's looking like it's so because the numbers have plateaued, and that was the aim right when we started. Right when we began, we always wanted to say that we want to flatten the curve, and it looks like that we are on the flat end of the curve right now. So the challenge then was, it was all new. remember that the last time the world has faced something like this was exactly, over 100 years ago. In 1918 is when that happened. And initially it was horrifying because this is the century. The 20th century has seen insulin come up, it has seen antibiotics come up, it has seen organ transplants come up, it has seen ventilators come up. None of this was there in 1918. We are now in 2020 with all this paraphernalia at our disposal, and yet the battle looks very, very tough. And finally, what we share in common with our people who lived in 1918 post the First World War was the will to fight it out, the will to get together, and that is what has helped. Logistic difficulties did keep happening because the information was, there's so many drugs which have worked or which have partly worked, but if you go and check that how the trials happen, how a new drug comes into the market, it takes a few years. But here, if somebody has tried it on 100, 200, 500 patients, maybe in Europe, maybe in America, maybe in China, we would want to try it because we can't wait for the whole process of a drug trial to happen and then to start using any particular drug. We want to do it as soon as possible because it's no good to my patients if I get a successful trial and then they tell me if this drug works. My patient wants the drug to work today. So the first dictum of medicine is first do no harm. So once we realize that the drug is not harmful, people have tried it and we are sharing our experiences and we are learning every day.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and certainly the world, especially India, will come out stronger from the COVID pandemic. But Dr. Saple, I want you to also tell our viewers some of the worst times that you have seen. Because in Mumbai, and especially at JJ Hospital as well, there have been scenes that have been witnessed that were quite traumatic. Just share with us some of the worst that you have seen and how you've overcome them.
I have learned of these things secondhand because I have moved out of Bombay on 28th of March, because when I moved out of Bombay on 28th of March to work in Sangli, Pune was the worst affected district in Maharashtra and Sangli was the second. So when I moved out of JJ, what I had prepared to work there was we set up the lab, we set up an isolation hospital there, and then I moved out. So what I've learned about JJ is more secondhand and from people sharing experiences. I've been working more in the field, more at district places like Meerut, Sangli, Jamkhed, which is a very small place with lots of logistic difficulties, Sangamner, and then Malegaon. So Malegaon is one experience which is one of the first places to have crested the curve, so to say. And those were the similar issues there of overcrowding in the population in the early days, a bit of skepticism whether this really exists. And that is what we have to overcome, and it has always been a public-private partnership. I can say that the government has played a huge role, but the populace has to come in, the private practitioners have to come in, and we conducted training. We realized that patients initially ended up going to their general practitioners. So we conducted a training for general practitioners. We told them that this is the protocol that is described. You can deal with the patients in your own small clinics, roadside hospitals, and which patients can you continue treating in your institute or in your small clinic, and which are the ones you need to refer, what is the advice you need to give out. And I believe that is what works, and everybody coming in, the doctors not only practicing allopathy but also the other faculties could help us do this.
Absolutely, Dr. Saple, we can only imagine how challenging the situation must have been. And of course, you've seen the worst. And like you rightly pointed out, that it is not just the situation that you see at hand, which is the lack of beds, which is treating patients, but at multiple levels, when you also have to deal with the mental makeup of people who are suffering through this pandemic. So we truly laud your efforts and every single frontline warrior who's been at it and who's truly helped the country fight this battle. We want to thank you for speaking to Republic this afternoon.
Thank you so much.